straight line is really something that in a way like runs contrary to what you would expect for something that enhances nature. You expect to have some kind of a winding line. And I kept insisting that it should be straight because of the depth of view that it opens and because it actually enhances the little wild nature that we have here by opposing it. It's as if this whole park was designed like a house for the community. So that the path is the living room where everybody meets, where everybody sees each other, where you come to see and be seen. And then there are rooms around it. There's the dog room on one side and there's the children's room on the other, the children's playroom. And the parents can sit in the middle and watch both. It's very peaceful that way. I really like the idea of just enhancing the linear character of the park, just doing this one long straight line with lots of swings. Usually in parks there's always a fight over the swing. There's always too little swings and children love swings. So why don't we do one park where there's just enough swings for everybody? 20 different types of swings for little children, for adults. There's also like the love chairs. The children come and they play and they move from one swing to another. Each one is a different experience. When we started to work on the Haskalah Park, one principle was the principle of community. We wanted this park to serve as something that connects the people around here. We wanted to create a place that calls for gathering, that calls for new people to meet old people, that makes the old residents feel proud of their neighborhood and that like their neighborhood and make the new residents like the old residents. The other principle is the principle of a narrative, of telling a story. Amnon, my partner, said, well, it's called, the name of the park is Sderot HaHaskalah, the Enlightenment Boulevard. Why don't we tell the story of the Enlightenment here? And once we started looking at the Enlightenment movement, it just felt like we found a treasure. All the people that the street names are named after them in the neighborhood, they are authors from the Haskalah period. On the walls of bomb shelter, we put the pictures and a little story, a little biography of who those people were. The way that the pictures are hung, it's just like some Polish grandmother's house where she has the family members hanging on the wall. We have these tables scattered around the park. And on the tables, on each table, there is a poem or a short story. These things are related always to what is next to them. So it's a very, very rich content in those pages. I particularly like this one very much because it's a story about two little dogs. It's a children's story about dogs in between the children's play area and the dog area. And I hope it encourages them to tell the story to their children. We talked about ecology, let's try to make this as ecological as possible. That means the first principle is to see what you have and keep what is there. The trees were here first, and they were actually planted in the 50s sometime. So one of the principles was to kind of give us gesture to the trees, put all the lights in the angle that enhances this angle that the trees grew because of the winds coming in from the sea. Right behind me you can see the grassy area. Most of the park is left without grass, it's just earth. And it's one of the ecological principles of this garden that we wanted not to irrigate so much. Israel is a very dry climate and we want to conserve water. But the ecology also has a deeper level, which is the level of how do you experience nature? To afford people that experience of being in wilderness or being in nature that is so rare in the city. Every time they come, it looks a little bit different. There's something interesting to discover. The park doesn't always look the same. Every time it's different.